They went up the mountain as three friends on a winter morning. By sunset, it was as if the mountain had swallowed them whole. January 17th, 2019. Three university students, Daniel, 22, Mark, 23, and Sarah, 21, left their dorm in Bursa before dawn. Their plan was simple: a day hike on Uludağ's beginner trails back before dark. They had GPS devices, proper gear, and years of friendship that made them trust each other completely. But when midnight came and their phones went straight to voicemail, their families knew something had gone terribly wrong. What happened in those 72 hours would become one of Turkey's most puzzling mountain disappearances. The last confirmed sighting was at 9:47 a.m., captured by a ski resort security camera. The three were seen heading toward the marked trail, laughing, relaxed. The temperature was a manageable 5 degrees Celsius. Visibility was perfect. There was no reason, absolutely no reason, for them to vanish. But they did. The first 24 hours, silence. When the students didn't return by 8 p.m., their families called the Uludağ Mountain rescue team. The initial response was routine. Lost hikers usually turn up within hours, disoriented but safe. The team deployed at first light, following the standard trail the three had supposedly taken. They found nothing. No footprints, no discarded items, no signs of struggle. By noon on January 18th, over 50 rescue personnel were combing the mountain. Helicopters circled overhead, thermal imaging cameras scanning the white expanse below. The weather remained stable. The conditions were ideal for a search, yet it was as if Daniel, Mark, and Sarah had simply evaporated. Then came the first strange discovery. At 3 p.m., a rescue dog picked up a scent near the eastern ridge, a location nearly 4 kilometers off the marked trail. The area was steep, rocky, and considered dangerous even for experienced climbers. Why would three beginner hikers go there? The dog led the team to a cluster of pine trees. Hanging from a low branch was Sarah's red scarf, neatly tied in a bow. Not torn, not dropped, deliberately placed, but Sarah was nowhere nearby. It looked like a marker, said rescue team leader Mehmet Korkmaz in his official report. Like she wanted us to find it. But why here? And where did they go next? The scarf raised more questions than answers. If they were lost, why leave such an obvious sign and then move on? If they were in danger, why wasn't the scarf used as an emergency signal? And most disturbing of all, the scarf was dry, completely dry, despite being in snow for over 24 hours. Day 2. The camera. January 19th brought fog, thick, suffocating fog that reduced visibility to less than 10 meters. The search was temporarily suspended. It was too dangerous to continue. Rescue teams waited at base camp, frustrated, anxious. Then, at 2:47 p.m., a hiker unrelated to the search found something. Half buried in snow, near a frozen stream, 2 kilometers from where the scarf was found, lay Mark's camera. A professional-grade Canon, still functional despite the cold. The hiker turned it over to authorities immediately. What was on that camera would change everything. There were 127 photos. The first 89 were normal: sunrise shots, selfies of the three friends, landscape photos of the snow-covered peaks. They showed a group having fun, taking their time, enjoying the hike. Nothing seemed wrong. Then came photo number 90. It was taken at 11:23 a.m. on January 17th, an hour and a half after the last security camera footage. The image showed a trail marker, but it was the wrong marker. The sign read, "Advanced route, expert climbers only." They had somehow veered off course. Photos number 91, number 105, showed the group continuing deeper into the advanced trail. Sarah's expression in these images had changed. She looked worried. Mark appeared to be arguing with Daniel, his hand pointing back the way they came, but they kept going forward. Photos number 106 and 118 became increasingly erratic. Blurry shots of trees, the ground, the sky. Timestamps showed they were taken in rapid succession between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. Something had unsettled them. Then came photo number 119. It was taken at 2:47 p.m. It showed a cave entrance, dark and uninviting, carved into the mountainside. And in the bottom right corner of the frame, barely visible in the shadows, was that a fourth person? The image was too unclear to confirm. It could have been a rock formation, a shadow, or the fog playing tricks. But rescue teams who examined the photo couldn't shake the feeling that someone, or something, else was there. Photos number 120 and number 127 were taken inside the cave. The flash illuminated rough stone walls, icicles hanging from the ceiling, and footprints in the dust. Old footprints. Dozens of them. They weren't the first people to find this cave, but who else had been there, and when? The final photo, Mar 127, was taken at 3:15 p.m. It showed the back wall of the cave. Scratched into the stone, in crude lettering, were words in Turkish, "Don't follow the voice." The camera's battery died immediately after. Day 3. The voices. By January 20th, over 100 rescue personnel were deployed. The discovery of the camera had provided a location. The cave was identified on old geological survey maps as Kuytu Mağarası, hidden cave, an unmapped formation rarely visited even by experienced climbers. The fog had lifted. Teams moved quickly. At 9:30 a.m., they reached the cave entrance. Inside, they found Mark's backpack, half empty. His water bottle was missing, so was his jacket. But there was no sign of Mark. Further inside, they found Sarah's gloves, placed carefully on a flat rock. Not dropped, placed, and then they heard it. "Help, help us." The voice echoed from deeper within the cave system. Faint, desperate, unmistakably human. The rescue team rushed forward, flashlights cutting through the darkness. The cave split into 3 tunnels. The voice seemed to come from all of them at once. "Help, we're here." Team leader Korkmaz split his group. 3 teams, 3 tunnels. They moved fast, but the voice kept moving. No matter which direction they went, it always seemed to be coming from somewhere else. Behind them, above them, below them. The acoustics of the cave were disorienting, but this was different. This was impossible. After 45 minutes of searching, one team made a discovery in the leftmost tunnel. They found Daniel. He was alive. Hypothermic, dehydrated, but alive. Huddled in a small alcove, wrapped in a thermal blanket that wasn't his. When rescuers reached him, his first words were, "Don't listen to them. They're not real." He was semi-conscious, delirious from cold and exhaustion. Medics stabilized him immediately and began the evacuation. As they carried him out, Daniel kept muttering the same phrase over and over. Sarah and Mark went deeper. They thought it was me calling, but I never called. The discovery. At 1:15 p.m., the second team found Sarah. She was in the middle tunnel, approximately 200 meters from the entrance, sitting upright against the cave wall. Her eyes were open. She was alive. But she wouldn't or couldn't speak. Medics examined her. Physically, she was in better condition than Daniel. No frostbite, no major injuries. Her body temperature was low, but not critical. Yet when they asked her questions, she simply stared ahead, unblinking, silent. In her hand, she clutched a small piece of paper. When rescuers gently pried it from her frozen fingers, they found a handwritten note. The handwriting was Mark's. "If you find this, tell my family I'm sorry. I heard my sister calling for help. I know she's not here. I know she's in Istanbul. But I heard her voice. I had to follow it. I had to." The note was dated January 18th, the second day. Mark had written it and given it to Sarah before disappearing deeper into the cave. They never found him. The third team searched the rightmost tunnel for hours. They found Mark's jacket, his phone, battery dead, and his wallet. They found more footprints, his boots, clearly identifiable by the tread pattern. But the footprints stopped at a dead end. A solid rock wall with no exit, no crevices, no way forward. Mark's footprints led to the wall and then vanished. Aftermath. The questions that remain. Daniel recovered in the hospital. He was treated for severe hypothermia and dehydration. Physically, he healed within weeks. Psychologically, that took longer. In his official statement to authorities, Daniel described the events as he remembered them. "We got lost. We were stupid. We took a wrong turn and kept going because we thought we could find our way back. When we found the cave, we decided to wait out the cold. We thought someone would find us. But then we started hearing voices. My mother's voice, Sarah's boyfriend's voice. Mark heard his sister. They sounded so real, so desperate. Mark kept saying we had to help them. I tried to stop him, but he wouldn't listen. Sarah followed him. I tried to follow too, but I got turned around. I was alone for I don't know how long. Hours? Days? The voices never stopped. They kept calling, but I remembered the words on the cave wall. Don't follow the voice. So I stayed put. I covered my ears. I waited. And somehow, you found me." Sarah was released from the hospital 3 days later. She never spoke about what happened in the cave. Not to doctors, not to her family, not to investigators. She dropped out of university a month later and moved to another city. She never went near a mountain again. The search for Mark. For 6 months, search teams returned to K2 Cave repeatedly. They mapped every tunnel, every chamber, every crevice. They brought geologists, spelunkers, experienced cave rescuers. They never found Mark's body. They did find something else. In a small chamber off the rightmost tunnel, the one where Mark's footprints disappeared, they discovered old belongings. A backpack from the 1990s, a broken lantern from the 1970s, a wool coat from what appeared to be the 1950s, and dozens more messages scratched into the walls. The mountain speaks in familiar voices. My son called me. He's been dead for 3 years. Don't go deeper. The echoes lie. Local historians researched the cave's history. They found records of at least 7 disappearances in the area over the past 70 years. Most were dismissed as tragic accidents, lost hikers, avalanche victims, falls. But in each case, witnesses reported hearing the voices of loved ones calling from the mountain. The final mystery. In August 2019, 7 months after the incident, Sarah broke her silence. She sent a single email to Daniel. It contained no explanation, no apology, no context, just a photograph. It was one of the photos from Mark's camera, photo 119, the one showing the cave entrance with the shadowy figure. But this version of the photo was different, enhanced, brightened, clarified. The figure in the shadows was no longer ambiguous. It was Mark. But photo 119 was taken at 2:47 on January 17th, the first day. They didn't enter the cave until after 3 p.m. So how was Mark already inside the cave before they arrived? Daniel never responded to the email. He deleted it immediately and never spoke of it again. Epilogue, unanswered. Mark's case remains officially open. He is listed as a missing person. His family holds out hope, though they know deep down what everyone knows. Mark isn't coming back. The cave has since been sealed by local authorities. Warning signs have been posted. The area is off limits to hikers. But locals report that on cold winter nights, when the wind howls through Uludağ's peaks, you can still hear voices calling from the mountain. Voices of people you know, people you love, people who aren't there. And every few years, someone listens. Every few years, someone follows. And the mountain keeps its secrets.